punctuation, which was also part of what my dad's stand-up was about. It wasn't, he didn't use profanity in the sense of, like, you hear it now. I mean, it was punctuation, and it was poetry in motion.
So well put. That's well put, because I think so. I mean, whether it's acting or music or anything, I think you can sell a quality of something if people want to hear it, but to actually make it impactful, that's an art. That's actually a skill. And it's really cool to hear you, and the New York Times review and everything is great because it says, all of these wonderful things and all the different things that are going on with the show, and each one is so authentic. And I think that for that time period, the causes and the passion and the importance of everything that was going on was articulated, and it was specific, and it wasn't politically correct. And for you to bring that out in today's society of hush-hush, we want to talk about the president, but we're going to pretend not to talk about the president, I think it's healthy. And you're working with young people, and you're doing a lot of different things, so it's great that you're able to take that positivity and throw it out there.
It's funny that you just say young people, because I just finished with Baltimore TheatreWorks this morning. My morning started off with me going to see a production that we put together for middle school and elementary school kids, and they were actually performed in front of their peers today, and it was amazing. And then I left there, and I worked improvisation with foster kids. And And afterwards, I asked them, I said, did you get anything out of this? Like, how did you feel? And they said, this one girl goes, this is something I can take back and do with my brothers and sisters. And this is, and one girl goes, I'm really, really shy. And she is really shy. Like, she didn't talk at all. But she participated, and she goes, I kind of feel like I'm shy, but if I did this, maybe I wouldn't be as shy. It would help me be social. And that's what it's about. Like, theater and the arts is very impactful for our young people, and so that's why I created Baltimore TheatreWorks, for just that mission, because I know it can change lives.
Right. That is fantastic. I love hearing that. So after the people see your show, what kind of reactions do you get from them?
I've gotten every kind of reaction. I've gotten people walking up to me with tears in their eyes and thanking me for the story that I'm telling. I've gotten people who are mixed who are, again, thank you for the story I'm telling. I've gotten people saying, so I still don't get it. Are you black or you're Jewish? I've gotten other people going, I liked it, but I don't know. And I've got, and then I've gotten other people who are like, oh my God, this should be on Broadway. I've gotten it all. It runs the gamut. And so, I think, but that's the thing about the artist. Not everyone loved Shakespeare when he first started writing. If, according to the other play, did he actually write them? But that's a whole nother thing, not everyone, dug the thee, thou, thou.
Right.
Like, what is he talking about?
Who's this lady?
Who's Juliet? Why does she want Romeo so bad? Move on.
Plenty of fish in the sea.
Exactly. Mercutio, he's much better.
He's got a portfolio.
Right. Got a 401k.
You win.
You're a hoot. I know I would love to see this play, and of course I'm not close enough to New York at the moment, but I have Jewish family. So I'm not Jewish myself, but I've been around plenty of Jewish festivities and different things. So I'm like, now I'm dying to see this play, this show. And
wait, and what's funny is I've heard that too, like people who are of the Jewish come to the show and they go, oh, it wasn't Jewish enough. I'm like,
very Jewish of you.
How very Jewish of you. So I have to give you more of the stuff, more thick or whatever it is I have to give you. And I'm like, but that's my story. Like, I'm not telling your story.
Right.
This is not, Henny Youngman or whatever.
Exactly. When you and your show were awarded the NAACP Award for Best Female Performer Equity in 2005. What did that award mean to you?
You know, what it meant is I felt like for me, it honestly felt like I was accepted by a community that during that time and era did not even notice me.
Wow.
Because of you know, the post-slave mentality, it's like people with light skin were, you know, I'm supposed to be privileged. I'm supposed to have what I want, but they don't realize, like, in that privilege, I also don't have the stereotypical white girl features. I'm not the light-skinned girls that make it famous because they look like pretty beautiful white girls, like, you know, the Halle Berrys and the Lisa Bonets and all that. I'm me. I'm unique. I'm different. And so I finally felt with that, it was like, wow, you see me as me now. I don't have to be those things. And that's kind of what it meant to me on a deeper level. You know, it's like I also don't have to be the kind of black girl that walks around in dashiki and my hair all braided and twisted up either. Like, I can be who I am with, you know, I have to thank Macy Gray, because if it wasn't for her big hair, my hair would still be out of fashion. And she brought the big girl hair back.
Yes, she sure did. That is fantastic. That's
if Erykah Badu could have just let it out a little bit more.
Exactly, just let it out, exactly.
Oh, my goodness. Recently, the show was chosen to be at the Celebrity Solo Performance for the National Black Theater Festival in North Carolina.
Yes.
And I'm hoping I have the dates right, July 29th through August 3rd.
Yes, that's it.
For people to, see, that's kind of close. I could drive there, theoretically.
Okay, then you're driving. Look, just to the fact that you said I could kind of, theoretically.
Well, I'm in Georgia. I'm in Atlanta, so yes, I could go. But I was also going to go into one other thing. After I've got to mention that you can buy tickets to see her off-Broadway show at the Actors Temple Theater by going to rain-pryor.com. You've got to scroll down the homepage to the link in info and click on the tour dates /appearances to see where else the show is going to be, and speaking engagements as well.
Or fried-chicken-and-latkes.com. It has the link, or telecharge.com off-Broadway, fried-chicken-and-latkes, you know. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm from D.C., so I'm coming to New York to see it. So.
Right? You better, Mike.
I will. You're awesome. Your energy's fantastic. I have to see this on stage. I do.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm gonna bring crazy people with me that'll hoot and holler and have a great time.
That's the whole object. That's what's another thing. Like, you get different audiences. I get the audiences that I think sometimes I suck because I don't hear a peep. And then at the end of the show, I'll get a standing ovation, and I literally freak out. Like, I want to say, why didn't you laugh? Like, why didn't you participate?
Where were you all night?
Where were you all night? You know, and then I realized, because there are different types of audiences. You know, there's the type that goes, should I be laughing at this? Should I not? Should no one? All right, should I just sit here and she's talking to us and asking us to participate? Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe that's breaking the fourth wall. Who breaks the fourth wall? You know,
Pryor.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I do, people.
Down with it. But
down
I
the
mean,
wall.
But isn't that what it's all about, though, Rain? Is just getting, like, just making that interaction a real interaction rather than just you pay the money, you come and see me perform and do what I do. I make the money that you pay, and then we go our separate ways. I mean, isn't there a bigger engagement that you're bringing with that approach? I mean, and however they feel. I mean, what's that like for you? We've talked a lot about the audience, but what do you gain from each performance when you walk away?
You know what? I love it. I'm addicted. I'm addicted. I love live theater. I love the energy. It's like afterwards, and then I crash. You know, I'm also exhausted afterwards. You know, I wish I could do it more just because of the weight loss.
Honesty on top of honesty. That's beautiful.
I'm not joking. There's a lot of pounds that can be lost and calories burned up from an hour on the stage running around.
Well, no, people realize that singing is one of the best ab workouts you can get.
Yeah, I guess so.
It is. It really is. I mean, the way you got to push your diet.
What?
We'll get into the metaphysics of it later.
Right, exactly. It's a mental diet.
We'll just absorb it.
Hilarious.
Rain, what are you hoping to do with Baltimore TheatreWorks? Like I said, I'm in D.C. and I've heard a lot about it. Suzanne Pinedo has told me a ton and shown me so much about what you're doing. I actually was supposed to go to your opening last week, and my dad's broke his back, so I've got to do some things. He's got to do some things down here. But I just because music and art and community and all that stuff is really important to what I'm doing and the things that I'm trying to represent. What are you hoping to really gain with the youth community in Baltimore?
What I'm really hoping to gain is part of what I experienced today, which is there's a change in these kids that opens them up to the skills necessary to really succeed in life. And I feel that through theater arts, you develop, one, the sense of community, because it takes a village to put on a whole entire show. And it takes a village to communicate with one another and get things done, problem solving. You're learning about history and culture. So it really incorporates. You learn about science. You're learning technical and technology. And so I think that, and if you're a musician, you're learning mathematics and rhythm and where that plays. And I just think all of it really enhances what they can do in school and gives a sense of confidence that, sitting in a classroom just looking at a textbook and regurgitating information doesn't give you. And so for me, and especially working with inner city kids, when they see themselves, when these little kids are doing Willy Wonka Jr., and they're all black kids, and the audience is 98% black students looking at themselves up on the stage performing in the play, there's nothing that beats that in the world. You can't. It's almost like if Obama came to the school and stood in front of them in person and said, yes, I am the president, and this is how I did it. It sparks that thing that says, I really can do it. It's not out of my reach.
And that makes a lot of sense, Rain, because you'd mentioned earlier that you were really into psychology. I have a background in education, and it sounds like you realize, and I'm sure that you've known this for a long time, that children can learn different ways. They can use theater, music, art, dance, writing, any of those art forms to be able to communicate more effectively. That's at least with confidence, with how they present themselves. You mentioned it yourself. The girl that's shy can actually just go out there and say, okay, I can do this, and that's going to help her get over her shyness. This doesn't sound so much as you're building little actors, but you aren't empowering them. You're actually giving them the skills to empower themselves.
Let me tell you something. I'm not trying to build little actors. The last thing I want is for any of these kids really to think like, oh, they're going to make it.
Right.
It's because it's really only a handful that makes it, and it takes a lot of determination, and it takes a skill set, and it takes an attitude, and it takes that it factor. It really does take that. And so what I am trying to do is exactly what you just said, is empower. This is about empowerment. And the arts, you go to Europe, and it's full of culture and music and art and theater. And those people are great in business, and they're great at communicating all over the world because they understand the different cultures, and and what's so funny is I think we don't realize that even, and I bring it back to Obama just for this reason, that the man is multicultural because of, do you know what I mean? And it's like that's what you want in the world. You want us to be multicultural, multilingual, so that we can, if we want to trade in different markets, if we believe in capitalism, we can continue that.
Well, and we can communicate. We can start communicating the same ideas, just so we aren't trying to communicate a different perspective, but actually speak a similar language that isn't the words, but maybe the actions. No, that's a fantastic perspective, and I appreciate that you do create a global look at things, and you're looking at things a little bit deeper, and knowing that that's going to be a part of young kids' progress and perspective. That's awesome, and I don't think a lot of teachers bring that, and that's fantastic to hear, Rain. That's beautiful, actually.
Thank you.
I have to agree. And I want to ask you, where were you when I was in school? Because I would have loved to have learned from you, and because